What's going on, guys? We're back out here at the garden today, and got quite a bit of growth lately, and I just want to stand back and give y'all a shot of the garden from uphill here. Yeah, we've got melons, watermelons, and honeydew melons planted all over the place, and they're just taking off. We've got vines everywhere, and the watermelons are really taking off now. Been getting quite a few. Well, the flowers are sure pretty. My wife planted. There's one of the honeydew melons right there. And we've got some vine borers in our squash, and some of our squash, and we're going to try a different method here. And you can see the tomatoes have gotten big and got quite a few tomatoes on them. And I want y'all to look at this watermelon here. That's a pretty good sized watermelon. And they say, from what I understand, is that you look at the tendril right across from the stem of the watermelon. You can see this tendril here is still alive. And they say you need to let that tendril die all the way back before you pick the watermelon. So I think we're gonna test that method and see. But we've got several watermelons. Here's another one. You can see it there. But there's little baby watermelons all throughout the vines here. We're just kind of trying to wrap our vines around the beds as they grow. This light is not the best light for shooting, but we've got there's another little watermelon right down in there. Been getting a lot of dragon tongue beans. And we went ahead and planted some more green beans. Planted these not long ago, and we got pole beans underneath the trellis here, and you can see they're starting to wrap around the trellis, and we just got some regular bush beans here in the middle. And our corn's really starting to put out the silks on it. It even looks like some of the silks are starting to die off, so I believe it's been pollinated. And we've been really getting a ton of cucumbers. And we're gonna, we made a batch of bread and butter pickles last night. Beverly filmed the recipe on making a batch of those. Looks like we got quite a few peppers. Peppers are really starting to take off. That fertilizer that I did really helped these peppers. There's some more watermelons. They're really starting to take off now. Fertilize them as well. There's some chili peppers that we've got. You can see several peppers on those. I need to get those staked up. They're leaning pretty hard. And here's our other batch of corn. And we've been picking a bunch of the Chinese noodle beans. We've got the green Chinese noodle beans and the purple Chinese noodle beans growing in here. And I think I just got my corn too thick to really let the noodle beans grow good, and probably the corn growing good too. And here is this is called finally researched and found out what it was. It is a sweet potato squash. We'll probably go ahead and pick that one today. And we've got several others growing on it. There's another one. And you can see our tomatoes. We're about to have a bunch of tomatoes. It's getting time to pick those. Those are all Cherokee purple tomatoes there. And you can see our sweet potato vine is just gone crazy. And that other one over there is really growing too. I don't know anything about sweet potatoes, so I don't know when you're supposed to pick them or anything. But the tomato plants have really slowed down on putting tomatoes on, and I guess it's because of the heat. I'm thinking about getting some shade cloth and putting some shade cloth over them. And we went ahead and planted some more tomatoes. These tomatoes here I had left over from the batch I started in the spring, and I've just been kind of barely keeping them alive. And we planted them the other day, and they're really starting to take off already. So we should have some tomatoes this fall, I'm hoping. And here's some more of those. I believe these are another type of noodle bean, if I'm not mistaken. And boy, they're thick, really coming on good now too. And looks like there's several baby watermelons all around, everywhere. So we're gonna have, looks like we're gonna have plenty of melons. And my wife got mad because I planted some melons in her flower patch there, and they're starting to take over. She's been trying to transplant her flowers back out of there, and I warned her about that. And this is what happens. This is what will happen if you try to transplant your flowers in the middle of the summer. There's another watermelon. It's really taking off too. We finally got this pile of dirt spread out. And I've never grown sunflowers before. Well, there's another little baby watermelon. Two of them. I've never grown sunflowers before, so I'm kind of interested to see how these turn out. Looks like some of them are starting to head out. Alright guys, I got some Captain Jack's Dead Bug flower and vegetable garden dust. And I got a hypodermic needle from Tractor Supply. We've got these squash borer worms over here that have gotten into the stem of our squash plants. And I like squash too much to let them have these plants, but you can see right here, you can see right in there where that squash borer is bored in there and is pooping out. And there's several squash plants here that have them. Some of them don't have them. But what I'm going to do, and I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but I'm going to mix some of that Captain Jack's garden dust with some water and inject it up above that vine borer and try to kill it. And I'll let y'all know how the outcome of that comes out. Now y'all can see I've got my syringe here. I'm gonna try this. I saw somebody else do it, and I'm not sure who did it, but they were using a different product, I think. And I'm gonna try injecting this into this squash, into the middle of the squash vine here. Seeing how this works. All right, I can see where it's coming out the hole where the squash borer has been pooping out. Well, I'm going to see if that works. I don't think this is organic, but I'm getting tired of them.